Hi, it's me, Dr. Prasad Putilam. Welcome back to my classes on UV visible spectrophotometry or spectroscopy. Class number 4. It's a continuation of previous class, that is class number 3, in which we stopped at the discuss about conjugation, effects of steric hindrance on copolarity, conformation and geometry in polyenes, as well as solvent shift in polyenes and enones. So we couldn't continue on solvent shift, that is kept for this particular class video, as well as we'll be discussing about the Woodward-Fisher rule to calculate the lambda maximum for theoretical calculation. So continuation, that is solvent effect. Solvent effect, we know it is should be a most suitable solvent is the one which should not absorb. The solvent itself should not absorb the UV radiation or visible radiation. If it absorbs, it cannot analyze the sample that we are taking. So most commonly used the solvent is 95% ethanol, and it is not the ethanol which is commercially available. Commercially available ethanol is different. This 95% ethanol, it is cheap and it will not absorb in the range of 200 to 800 nanometer. This particular wavelength range we are using in UV visible spectrophotometry instrument. What I said, that a commercial ethanol contains benzene, and we know benzene contains it's an aromatic compound, or it contains conjugation, double bonds in conjugation, which will absorb the UV radiation, and we cannot be used. Therefore, commercial ethanol cannot be used. You have to make sure that it is 95% ethanol what you are using. Some solvent which can absorb which can be used in UV visible spectrophotometry analysis with their upper limit values also I'm displaying here, so that you can conveniently use for analysis of a particular compound. So ethanol, methanol, hexane, cyclohexane, diethyl ether all have an upper lambda maximum of around 210 nanometer. Therefore, any compound which absorbs above 210 nanometer, for that we can use this particular solvent, which will not interfere, or we can analyze. So we have to look into the spectra which is above 210 nanometer. So anyhow, it starts with the 200 to 800 nanometer is the spectral range for UV visible spectrophotometry instrument application. If you are using water, it absorbs at 205 nanometer. If it is tetrahydrofuran or THF, it is 220 nanometer. If it is a CHCl3 or chloroform, that is 245 nanometer. If it is carbon tetrachloride, CCl4, 265 nanometer. And if it is benzene, that is 280 nanometer. That's why what we said, the commercial available ethanol we cannot use because it contains benzene, and benzene can absorb at 280 nanometer, which is the UV range. Therefore, in the UV spectrum range, we cannot use the commercial ethanol. It will having benzene, which will absorb at 280 nanometer. So the position and intensity of an absorption band is affected by the change in polarity of the solvent, which is called solvent effect. Okay, that means if you use different solvents, the different solvents show different polarity. Polarity means charge separation. There are non-polar solvents, there are polar solvents. If the solvent molecule contains a heteroatom or more electronegative atoms, then usually it becomes polar. Charge separation takes place and it becomes polar solvent. So by varying the polarity, that means varying the solvent, different absorption peaks will be obtained for the same compound. That's what it means, that we call as the solvent effect. That means by increasing polarity of solvent, non-polar compounds like dienes and conjugated hydrocarbons. So dienes means it is a hydrocarbon, only hydrogen and carbon is there, and having a double bond. Okay, it is not polar as such because there is no such charge separation. Even though a double bond is there, a pi bond is formed, but there is no much different electronegative atoms. Carbon and hydrogen, they are almost same electronegativity value, which cannot show the polarity. Therefore, these type of molecules will not show any much solvent effect, whereas that is the absorption maximum for dienes and conjugated hydrocarbons are the same in polar solvent, say example alcohol or water, and in non-polar solvent, example hexane, normal hexane or cyclohexane, there are non-polar solvents. The absorption maximum for polar compounds, say example enones, ketones, aldehydes or carbonyl compounds, mainly alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, usually shifted with the change in polarity of the solvent. That means alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds show two different shifts So I'm drawing the structure of a carbonyl compound. Okay, see the red line represents the pi bond, sigma bond, and oxygen having lone pair of electron. This is the group which we call as carbonyl compound. If both the carbon valency remaining two valency satisfied by alkyl group, we call it as ketone. If any one of the valency is substituted by hydrogen, we call it as aldehyde. Okay, therefore, alpha beta unsaturation means the next carbon which is connected to this functional group that we call as alpha carbon, and with that alpha carbon and the next carbon which is beta. From alpha carbon to beta carbon, if there is a double bond or triple bond present, we call it as alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. Okay, so this alpha beta unsaturated compound show different shifts. If it is, it corresponds to the n to pi star and pi to pi star transition because we have a lone pair of electron or n electrons are there. And as well as it is a carbonyl compound, a double bond is present here, as well as alpha beta unsaturation double bond is also participating in this particular absorption spectrum. Therefore, n to pi star and pi to pi star are the two transitions which is possible, or two transition, or when it absorb, this compound absorb the UV visible spectrum radiation, these two particular type of electron arrangement or shifting to higher energy means they will absorb the energy. These particular electrons will absorb the energy and it converts into the pi star type anti-bonding molecular orbiter. Okay, if it is a solvent effect, if it is a polar solvent, say alcohol, ROH, we know alcohol, it is polar in nature because oxygen is more electronegative than that of hydrogen. Therefore, oxygen will be pulling these electrons, bonded pair of electron towards it. Hydrogen will lose the electron. Therefore, we can say that hydrogen, oxygen will get partial negative charge and hydrogen will get partial positive charge. And again here, because of the polarity between carbon and oxygen, oxygen is having partial negative charge as well as it has got a lone pair of electrons. So for here, this electron density on oxygen and less electron density on hydrogen. Therefore, these two can form a type of interaction between hydrogen and a more electronegative atom of another compound between two molecules. The bonding we call it as an intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular means between two molecules. Intra means within the molecule. Intermolecular means between two molecules. Therefore, the lone pair of electrons as well as the hydrogen of the alcohol functional group, they can form some type of attractive force. That means this lone pair of electrons will be given a little bit, it will be given to the H also. Therefore, the lone pair of electrons are not free as such. That means the n to pi star transition, because this is the n electron, the lone pair of electron we put as n electron, which already taken by the solvent. A little bit of its effect, lone pair electron effect, for its intensity it is taken by the H. Therefore, it needs higher energy. Higher energy means lower wavelength. Lower wavelength means blue shift. That means now, because of the presence of this polar solvent, this n to pi star transition, it requires higher energy, or it requires lower wavelength. Lower wavelength absorption we call it as blue shift. So therefore, than the expected alpha beta carbonyl compounds spectral peak, if the solvent is polar solvent, it will show a blue shift. As an example, acetone in water, the lambda maximum value is lower than acetone in hexane. So hexane is a non-polar solvent, and acetone, so water is a polar solvent. Therefore, acetone, if it is taken in water media, the lambda max is lower than acetone if it is taken in hexane. Now about the pi star transition. So because of this hydrogen bond only, I can say, or it will support this polarity. Polarity means charge separation among carbon and oxygen in the carbonyl bond. The polarity in carbonyl bond increases, or the carbonyl group, not bond as such. Okay, so carbonyl group between the carbon and oxygen. Between carbon and oxygen, the polarity increases. That means charge separation increases. That means these electrons become more fragile, more free to move, because the bond strength is disturbed because of the presence of this hydrogen bonding. Therefore, it becomes more free. That means it needs lesser energy to absorb. Therefore, we can say the partial negative and partial positive charge is there. Therefore, pi to pi star transition, it required a lesser energy. Lesser energy means a lower wavelength. That means red shift. It goes to red shift. So in case of a pi star transition show red shift, whereas n to pi star transition it shows blue shift. Therefore, acetone in water, the lambda max is higher than acetone in hexane in case of a pi star transition case. Therefore, alpha beta carbonyl compounds show two peaks, one peak corresponding to pi star and another peak corresponding to n pi star transition. Now, the presence of hydrogen bonding for polar compounds in polar solvent generally shift n to pi star and n sigma star bands to shorter wavelength and pi to pi star bands to longer wavelengths. And increase in polarity of solvents generally shifts n to pi star and n to sigma star bands to shorter wavelength and pi to pi star bands to longer wavelengths. Now, the effect of the solvent and solvent polarity on these bands called as K band, R band, P band, which is discussed in my previous video. So please go to previous video. Do subscribe those who are not subscribed my YouTube channel, My Intuition. Okay, My Intuition name is written here, My Intuition. Or you search my name, Dr. Prasad Putilam in YouTube. You can find my YouTube channel. Okay, so you subscribe my YouTube channel or go to the MSc Chemistry playlist. There I am uploading all this type of videos. All the videos are getting uploaded in that particular. So we'll discuss about the KR as well as B bands, how it get affected. Whether it is gives a longer wavelength shift or lower wavelength shift, whether it is blue shift or red shift with solvent polarity, that will explain. That I explained. So K band, so first one, K band is the absorption due to conjugated enes and enons. And it is affected differently by changing polarity of the solvent that we already seen. Okay, so now before I explain, you can guess. If it is a conjugated enes, that means that is alpha beta unsaturated. Sorry, if it is conjugated ene means it is a hydrocarbon with only double bonds, alternate single and double bonds. So there's no polarity in that. Therefore, the K band, it is due to only pi to pi star. Therefore, it is not much affected because by changing polarity, because there is no polar centers in that. Only double bond is present. There is no lone pair of electron or there is no more electronegative atom. Whereas in enons, enons means ketones, aldehydes, carbonyl compounds, they are having pole separation or charge separation. Therefore, it is affected. Therefore, we can say K bands due to conjugated dienes are not affected. K bands due to enon show a red shift by increasing the polarity of solvent. Now, second one, that is R band. It is due to the n to pi star transition of a single chromophoric groups and having at least one lone pair of electron on the heteroatom. That means it consists of a heteroatom and it has got a double bond also, because pi star race should happen. Therefore, pi orbital should be there. So shift to lower wavelength, that is blue shift, with the increase in polarity of the solvent that we seen in case of alpha beta unsaturated compounds. The B bands, that is due to pi star transition in aromatic or heteroaromatic molecules. Okay, so B stands for benzenoid band. B band means benzenoid band, which mainly the pi star transition explained here, not the N to pi star transition. Okay, so in aromatic compound, the position as well as the intensity of the B band is not shifted by increasing polarity of the solvent, because in aromatic compounds there is no more electronegative atom or lesser electronegative atom. It is again hydrogen and carbon, benzene and similar type of molecule we call it as aromatic compound. Therefore, it will not show. Only pi to pi star transition will not be affected by the solvent polarity. Whereas if the aromatic compound contains heteroatom in the cyclic structure, heteroatom means oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, etc., which is having lone pair of electrons. So, and they are more electronegative than that of carbon. Therefore, it will be affecting the polarity. Therefore, the polarity of the organic compound changes, and if the solvent is also polar, it will be affecting the shift. Therefore, it shows a marked hyperchromic shift. Hyperchromic shift means intensity the more photons it will be absorbing, and it will shift to hyperchromic shifter. So to know more about hyperchromic shifter, please go watch my second video. It is explained in that what is my previous video. It is explained the bathochromic shifter, hypsochromic shifter, hyperchromic shifter, and hypochromic shifter. That is very important in case of UV visible spectrophotometry. Now, very important topic, that is electronic transition and empirical correlation of predicting lambda max of organic compounds. That means by UV visible spectrophotometry, we are getting the lambda max value. We can guess by running the spectrum from 200 nanometer to 800 nanometer. The taken organic compound will absorb the radiation at different wavelengths, and at what wavelength it absorbed maximum, that we call as lambda max. That is experimentally we can determine. And when we prepare a new compound, we should have an idea what should be the lambda max. Therefore, by doing several experiments, several calculations, scientists did many calculations, mainly the Woodward. He initiated that one, or he did main work, and it is further modified by scientist Fisher, and they put forward some certain rules by which we can guess, or we can calculate, theoretically calculate the lambda maximum for the given compound. Mainly we are explaining the double bonded compounds here. That is pi to pi star transition will be explained here. And even the predicted value, that is calculated value, it will almost match with that of the expect or the actual value, observed value. Maximum up to 5 nanometer variation only it is seen. Therefore, it is very good tool to analyze or to guess or to predict the lambda max of organic compound. So before that, explaining about the rules or giving the rules, the conjugated polyenes, that is more than 5 double bonds present in a straight chain, or even in a branch, even in a branched one also. The conjugated polyenes containing more than 5 bonds, they are having color. So by to our naked eye itself, it is colored. Therefore, they are having a lambda maximum. They are wavelength absorption. It is in UV, sorry, in visible spectrum range. So visible spectrum range means around 400 nanometers. So around 300 to 800 is the visible spectrum range. Therefore, it absorbs at around 400 nanometer. The presence of alkyl groups on the double bonds. So the carbon atoms which are having the double bond, the carbon atom having the alkyl substituents, maybe like methyl, ethyl, or even any cyclic ring are connected to that double bond. It also affects, it also show a bathochromic shift. Bathochromic shift means that is red shift. Various types of double bonds are present in conjugation, and they absorb different valence. So we should have a rough idea what are the types of double bonds before we go into Woodward-Fisher rule. So we'll see one by one. So there are alicyclic dienes, so we call it as open chain dienes. There are homoannular dienes. There are heteroannular dienes. There are exocyclic and endocyclic dienes. So these are the 4 main different types of double bonds which are present in conjugation. So conjugation is very important. This should be alternate double and single bonds. So alicyclic dienes, it is the base unit is butadiene. So butadiene, we know already, we've seen the structure. So this is the structure of butadiene. So butadiene having 2 double bonds. Okay, therefore it is an open chain. There is no closed ring present. It is an open chain, and there are 2 double bonds or 4 pi electrons. And all these carbon atoms, we have the possibility of alkyl substitution. That means alkyl substitution is possible at this carbon 1. As a carbon 2 also we can substitute alkyl, because one hydrogen is there, we can replace that hydrogen with an alkyl group. The 3rd carbon atom also it is possible, 4th one also possible. Therefore, the alkyl substitution also will affect the UV visible absorption spectrum. So that also we'll see in Woodward-Fisher rule. The homoannular conjugated double bonds. What is homoannular? Annular means it is ring type. So a conjugated double bond present in same ring, it is also called as a homodienes. In a same ring, if more than 2 rings are present, or more than 1 rings are present in a molecule, that means which are fused. Okay, so like this rings are present. it is a cyclohexane fused, two cyclohexane fused. Then I'm giving two double bonds which are in conjugation, double bond, single bond, and double bond. Okay, therefore we can call it as a homoannular double bond. Another example, so two cyclohexane fused structure I took. So even one methyl substitution present on one side. So a double bond there and another double bond present here. So a double bond present here as well as a double bond present here, then it becomes homoannular double bonds. So if a double bond is present in between, then it will not become homoannular because that double bond, it is shared by both rings. Therefore, we cannot say that it is a same ring or single ring. Okay, therefore, make sure that the in between that fused carbon bond is not double bond. Other than that, if it is alternate single and double bond in the same ring, okay, the second ring it is not having the double bond. Even if a single double bond is there also, we can treat it as a homoannular. Okay, because double bond in conjugation, that is important. Conjugation should be there. If conjugation is present, then we call it as homoannular conjugated double bonds. So don't just see the double bond. Also, conjugation should be there in the same ring. If it is heteroannular conjugated double bond means which are present, the double bonds, conjugated double bonds are present in different rings, not in the same ring. Say example, two fused cyclohexane molecules. So here it is a conjugated double bond. So a double bond, a single bond, a double bond. Therefore, it is alternate, double, single, double. Therefore, it is example for heteroannular conjugated double bonds. Even another example I can give. So a double bond present here as well as here. So this alkyl group will not have much effect here. Therefore, this is also an example for heteroannular conjugated double bonds. The third type, that is reverse of the first one, a double bond present here and a double bond present after one single bond, and bonds are present on two different rings. Therefore, we can call it as heteroannular double bonds. Suppose if a double bond present at this position, so the what I'm showing that the arrowhead which is moving in that particular position, if a double bond is present, then it becomes homoannular. This ring will become homoannular because the conjugation already present in the same ring. Therefore, it becomes homoannular, and this pi bond we call it as extended pi bond. Okay, therefore, it should not be, the double bond should not be there in the fused carbons where the fusion takes place, the second cyclohexane ring which is fused. That fused position double bond should not be there. Now, exocyclic and endocyclic conjugated double bonds. Exocyclic, to explain that, before we go into that, we can say this is endo, that is within this molecule, within this ring. This double bond we can call it as endo, and this one is called as exocyclic or exo double bond. Therefore, if a structure contains this type of double bond to this ring, we call it as exocyclic ring, and within the ring we call it as endocyclic. Okay, say example, if I draw this structure, you can say that this is one ring, a second ring, a double bond is there, and even conjugation is there. And this particular double bond, it is similar to this. Okay, it is similar to the first one. Therefore, I can say this is an exocyclic ring, or exocyclic conjugated double bond, and this is endo. So if I name A and B to these two rings, then I can say that the particular double bond which is represented here, it is exocyclic to ring A. Another example, A and B. So here again it is in conjugation. So double bond, single bond, double bond, and to ring A, this double bond it is exocyclic, and for ring B, this double bond is exocyclic. That means two exocyclic double bonds are present here. So it contains two exocyclic double bonds. Now, the Woodward-Fisher rule for dienes. Woodward-Fisher rule is for alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound for benzene and this derivative that will be discussing in coming videos. So it is given some of the values they proposed as such. This one we need to understand, or we need to by heart, or we need to have some techniques to remember that. Anyhow, I written in the increasing order. So increasing order till here, and after oxochrome also increasing order. You can say the parent value, that means the lambda value, if you want to calculate the base value, the basic value which is given in nanometer, if it is a heteroannular conjugated diene is present in the compound. Okay, so if heteroannular conjugated double is present, then the first starting value should be 250. If it is a butadiene system or a acyclic conjugated diene, then the starting value is 270. That means you have to keep on adding. So you have this written plus sign. You have to keep on adding to this base value. If it is acyclic triene, then it is 245. If it is homoannular conjugated dienes, then it is 253. Now you know what is butadiene system, you know what is heteroannular system, you know what is homoannular system, and acyclic, that is straight chain trienes, 3 double bonds in conjugation, that is 245. Now increment. So if it contains, if the double bond have the carbon containing double bond have alkyl group, or it is connected to a ring, the double bonded carbon atoms or double bonded carbon having attached to a ring structure, then we need to add 5 units further, or 5 values further to the lambda maximum value, the calculating value. If it is exocyclic double bond, what is exocyclic, that also we see, we need to add 5. If double bond is present in extension, or double bond extending conjugation, the conjugation is extended by another double bond. That means we already seen a diene, 2 double bonds, and after 2 double bonds, another single bond and a double bond is present. That means it is extending. The conjugation is extending. If the conjugation extends, we need to add 30. If 2 more double bonds are extending, then we need to add 30 plus 30. Okay, now some oxochromes if present, like chlorine or bromine present, we need to add 5. If alkoxy group, OR group is present, we need to add plus 6. If SR, thiol, alkyl thiol group is present, we need to add 30. If amine, the secondary amine group is present, we need to add 60. Okay, so this much value we need to understand, or we need to, we should remember. You have to do so many examples by practice, then by this it will become clear to you. Okay, so other than any other functional group is that you don't need to add any value to that. So this much only we'll consider that right now. This much only with the Wood and Fisher rule says. Okay, so that value I kept aside to for comparison. So we'll take one example. So if you have 2,4-hexadiene, 2,4-hexadiene, that is position 2 and position 4 is having a double bond in a 6-membered straight chain hydrocarbon, that is CH3, CH double bond CH, single bond CH, double bond CH, single bond CH3. So if you look into this structure, we can say this is actually butadiene, the center carbon atom. If you remove the first carbon as well as last carbon, then it is butadiene, double bonds present in alternate. That means this one we have to treat as alkyl substituents. So these two are alkyl substituents on the double bonded carbon atom. Okay, like that we have to treat it for giving the, for calculating the lambda max value. Otherwise, it is not a substituent, it's a straight chain hydrocarbon. The IUPAC nomenclature itself is given here. Okay, so the observed lambda max value for 2,4-hexadiene is 227 nanometer. That means if you take hexadiene in ethanol as solvent, the pi star transition value for 2,4-hexadiene observed in UV spectrophotometer reading is 227 nanometer. So we'll calculate it. So the basic value, so it is a it is a butadiene system or acyclic conjugated diene. Therefore, basic value is 217, which is given in the table. Okay, 217. Then we have alkyl substituents. Okay, so we have 2 alkyl substituents. 2 alkyl substituents, we need to add 5 each. That is 2 into 5, 10 nanometer. Therefore, calculated value 217 plus 10, that is 227. So exactly matching it is. The theoretically calculated value and the observed value are exactly matching. So we'll take more examples. So this particular compound, a ring is there and double bonds. So this is the conjugated double bond, a double bond, single bond, and a double bond. So we need to see only the conjugated double bond. So this is conjugated double bonds are present in the open chain. not in the closed ring. Ring does not have any double bond, which is in conjugation. Therefore, it is again similar to butadiene system or acyclic conjugated diene, and all these will treat as the substituents. Okay, therefore the base value, okay, the observed lambda max for this particular compound is 242 nanometer. Base value what is 217 nanometer. And the substituents, we have alkyl substituents. We have two alkyl substituents, the CH3, it is connected to the carbon with double bonds. And what else? We have even the ring residue, what we call as ring residue. Now it will be clear. So the ring residue, so this particular bond we can treat as the ring residue. The second bond, it is also can treat as the ring residue. That means we have two ring residues also. That means two alkyl substituents, two ring residues. That means total 4. That means 4 into 5. Therefore, two alkyl substituents and two ring residues. That is 4 into 5. The value is 4 into 5 is 20 only. Okay, now next, it has got exocyclic double bond. So what is exocyclic double bond? In a ring outward direction from the ring, if a double bond is extended, we call it as exocyclic. So this is exo to this cyclic structure. Okay, therefore we call it as exocyclic double bond is present. Only one exocyclic double bond is present. Therefore we need to add 5 nanometer to that. Therefore calculated value 217 plus 20 plus 5 equals to 242 nanometer. So again we are getting almost the same or exactly the same value. Now a particular structure. Okay, so this structure, it has got a bond in this type of nature. That means it is bicyclic. It is not a fused one. It is bicyclic structure. So bicyclic structure, one extra increment we need to add. Okay, anyhow, the observed value is 254 nanometer. In case of bicyclic, it causes some strain in the molecule. And for bicyclic strain correction, we need to add 15 to whatever the initial values that is given in the table. In addition to that, a plus 15 we have to consider if one bicyclic is there. If more than one is bicyclic structure is there, we keep on adding 15. Okay, now here, what type of system it is? It is not the rings, double bonds are not present in the ring. The double bond is present outside the ring only. Therefore, it is a carbon connected to a double bond, another carbon, a double bond. Therefore, it is just like the butadiene system or acyclic conjugated. Conjugation is present as acyclic. Conjugation is present not in the ring, outside the ring. Therefore, it is similar to butadiene system, or it is acyclic conjugated diene. Therefore, basic value. Okay, so that is represented there. Basic value, it is 217 nanometer. And the ring residues, okay, these two bonds are connected to the carbon containing double bond. Here one substituent, here one substituent, or we call it a ring residue. So two ring residues are there. Okay, where I am here. Okay, so we have two ring residues. We need to add 5. So two ring residues, that is 2 into 5, that is 10 nanometer. And we have exocyclic double bonds. Okay, so to this ring, this particular ring or this particular ring, okay, both will consider as same ring. So like, to the ring, there are one double bond present here, one double bond present here. So two exocyclic double bonds present, that is represented here. So two exocyclic double bonds, that is 2 into 5, 10 nanometer. Now we have to add the bicyclic strain correction plus 15. Therefore, total value, calculated value would be 217 plus 10 plus 10 plus 15, 252 nanometer. Okay, so 252 nanometer is theoretically calculated, and experimentally observed is 254. So the difference is only 2 nanometer. So only up to, even up to 5 nanometer it is considered. The variation from theoretical to observed, if it is up to 5 nanometer, it is considered by Woodward-Fisher rule. For some exceptional cases, it will come. Most of the cases, it will matches exactly. Okay, now this particular compound, it looks a very interesting compound. Okay, so two cyclohexane rings are there, and double bond, single bond, double bond. Okay, so they are in conjugation. Okay, so don't say that they are in different plane. They are in the same plane. Actually, if you draw the structure, it will be in the same plane. Okay, so they are in conjugation. Therefore we can treat it as a butadiene system only, and its observed value is 247 nanometers. So basic value it is butadiene system or acyclic conjugated diene, that is value is 217. Then anything extra, then it has got a ring residues. How many ring residues are there? So the double bond, this we cannot treat as a ring residue. This we cannot even treat as an alkyl substitution. That is a part of that conjugated system. So here one ring residue, here one ring residue, third and fourth. So total 4 ring residues are there. 4 ring residues means 4 into 5, that is 20 nanometer. And we have hexacyclic, 2 hexacyclic are there. So to this cyclic structure, a double bond is there. To this cyclic structure also, a double bond is present. Therefore, 2 exocyclic double bonds, 2 into 5, 10. Calculated values 217 plus 20 plus 10, 247 nanometer. Another example. Okay, so this I seen in university level question papers. Okay, so this one we'll try to solve. Okay, so again, it is a conjugated diene. A conjugated double bond is present. A double bond, single bond, double bond, and only one ring is there in the ring. Therefore, it is not a ring in the conjugation. Conjugated double bond is not present in the ring. Therefore, it is not a homoannular or even heteroannular cases. Also, it will not work. Therefore, it is basic values. Butadiene system, a cyclic conjugated diene system only we have to consider, and this as the ring residue, and this one as the exocyclic double bond. Okay, so we got all the required information for that. Basic value it is 217. Then we have 4 ring residues. What 4 ring? No, only 2 ring residues. 2 ring residues, that is 2 into 5, 10 nanometer, and we have 1 exocyclic double bond, that is 5. Total value, calculated value is 217 plus 10 plus 5, 232. I think it is correct. 232 nanometer. Another structure is given. It is not heteroannular. It is not homoannular, because to become heteroannular, it should be fused ring. This is not fused ring. One ring and it is having a single bond connected, and then another ring. It is not fused. Therefore, we cannot consider as even heterocyclic. Otherwise, conjugation in not in same ring we call it a heterocyclic. This is not heterocyclic conjugated diene. This has to be treated as acyclic conjugated diene or butadiene system. Okay, so basic value is I am sorry. It is heteroannular conjugated diene, heterocyclic, not heterocyclic, heteroannular conjugated diene system. So it is not the fused case as such. So I did a great blunder. Okay, so it is not what we call butadiene system. It is acyclic conjugated diene system. It is not. It is heteroannular conjugated diene. So correction. So mistakes will happen continuously if you do. I'll do mistakes. Human beings always do mistakes. Okay, even police can do mistake. Okay, so you can say that a ring double bond is present in one ring, double bond is present in second ring. So whatever I said previously, I am erasing it. Okay, so erase, you also erase it. Okay, so not only the fused cases, even the double bonds are present in ring which are attached. And if it is in conjugation, we treat it as heteroannular conjugated diene. What fusure? You are great. Okay, so heteroannular conjugated diene 215 value we are giving. Then this one ring residues, alkyl substitution, how it is not there. Ring residues is the ring residues we have. How many ring residues we have? Okay, so this I will not consider as ring residue. That is in the conjugation. Here one ring residue. Here one ring residue. Here one ring residue. Here one ring residue. Okay, so 4 ring residues we consider. So 4 ring residues, 4 into 5, that is 20 nanometer. Calculated value, that is 215 plus 20, 235 nanometer. Okay, so this is the calculated value for Woodward-Fisher rule for dienes in ethanol with a pi to pi star transition. And you are watching my YouTube channel, My Intuition, just like reading news channels. Okay, so another ring structure it is given. Okay, there are no advertisement from my side. YouTube may put advertisement. It is not me. Okay, so here it is double bond ring. Okay, okay, it is fused also. What I said. Therefore, it is heteroannular conjugated diene system, and there are many alkyl substitutions are present. But whether it will consider in our +5 value also, that we'll check. Okay, so base value it is 215. Then we have alkyl or ring residue. How many alkyl ring residue? Let me guess first. If mistake is there, I will correct it. Okay, so here one ring residue is there. So this is the ring structure. So here one ring residue is there. Here one ring residue. Here one ring residue is there. Okay, the 3 ring residues. Okay, 3 ring residues. 3 into 5, 15. Then we have exocyclic double bonds. Exocyclic. Okay, whether this double bond is exocyclic to ring A? No, it is not exocyclic. But whereas this double bond, it is exocyclic to second ring. Therefore, we have one exocyclic double bond. That is 5. And then calculated value, only this much we'll add. 215 plus 15 plus 5, how much? 235. Another structure given, or similar type of structure only. It is already we see in the example. It is double bond, single bond, double bond. It is conjugated, and double bonds are present in two different rings. Therefore, heteroannular conjugated dienes. What extra? We have another double bond here, which is in conjugation. Okay, so we have special case here, double bond extending conjugation. Okay, so this is the main double bond that we are considering, and we have one extra double bond which is continuing from that, and it is in conjugation. Therefore, we need to add a value 30. Therefore, basic value that is 215 only. There is no variation in that, and we need to add the double bond extending conjugation plus 30. So 30 nanometer. Then the remaining alkyl substituent. Okay, so alkyl or ring residue. Now this is included in the extended conjugation. Therefore, this particular single bond, or we cannot treat as alkyl substituent. So we'll see the remaining. So here one, here one, here one, then here one. How many ones are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, I think. So it is 4. So we have ring residues, 4 ring residues, that is 4 into 5, 20 nanometer. Then exocyclic double bonds. Exocyclic is the exocyclic. This double bond is not exocyclic. This double bond is exocyclic to ring A or first ring. This double bond, it is exocyclic to second ring. So 2 exocyclic double bonds are present. 2 into 5, 10. So calculated value, it is 215 plus 30 plus 20 plus 10, 275. Very good structure. Those two confusing, complicated structure is given. It's very difficult to guess the lambda value, because C8, H17 is there, acetoxy group is there, acetyl and oxygen group present, and so many rings are there. 5-member ring is also there. We didn't explain anything or discuss anything about 5-member ring by Woodward-Fisher rule in case of diene. So we consider as a ring only. Okay, so it is a ring. Whether it is hexagonal or a pentagon, it is a ring only. Okay, therefore dienes, it is a cyclic only. Okay, now conjugation is present. It should be about a conjugated double bonds. Double bond is there here, a single bond, a double bond. Therefore, it is conjugated dienes. Whether it is opens or acyclic conjugated diene, it is not acyclic as such. Okay, already I did a mistake. I'm not doing the same mistake again. It is not acyclic. It is not butadiene system. It is heteroannular conjugated diene system. Don't think about the C8H17. Here one alkyl substitution, here alkyl substitution, ring this group. These are not as such contributing to the wavelength absorption. The double bonds. Okay, so in UV visible spectrophotometer range, I'm not telling you the entire electromagnetic spectrum. In UV visible spectrophotometer range, that is 200 to 800 nanometer range, these are not creating any issues. Only the double bonds and its alkyl substitution or exocyclic, endocyclic, or those issues, or any oxochrome connected to that double bonded carbon atom, that only will disturb the absorption maximum. That only will vary there. Therefore, we don't want to get confused by any structure which is given in competitive exam. Only this type of examples should be given. Even complicated examples should be given. You just close your eyes first, then open and check whether conjugated diene is present there or not. If it is in conjugation, only look into that. Remaining all you keep close with your pencil, paper, or you close it with that and look only to that conjugated system. Check whether it is heteroannular conjugated diene or butadiene system or acyclic conjugated diene system or acyclic triene system or homoannular conjugated diene system. Then check whether it is having a double bond is in conjugation, extending conjugation. That is very important. Otherwise, you may consider that single bond as alkyl residue or alkyl substitution. Therefore, after looking to that parent value, then you should check whether any double bond is there in extension. Then that entire one we have to treat as a system or conjugated system. And whatever substitution present to the double bonds, we have to treat as alkyl or ring residue. Okay, so we'll see the examples. So here it is 215 nanometer. Alkyl and ring residue. Okay, so let me guess first. So this is one ring residue. Here one ring residue. Another ring residue. Fourth ring residue. So I said 4. So 4 ring residues. 4 into 5, 20 nanometer. We need to add. Exocyclic double bond. Where is exocyclic double bond? Is there any exocyclic double bond? I think 2 exocyclic double bonds are there. Okay, so 2 exocyclic double bonds are there. So to this ring, okay, what I'm representing here, okay, that is important. Now, but to this ring, a double bond is exocyclic, another double bond is exocyclic. Therefore, 2 exocyclic double bonds are present. Therefore, calculator value is 215 plus 20 plus 10, 245. Another example. What is this? Conjugated double bond present in same ring. Okay, so homoannular conjugated diene 253. It is a homoannular conjugated diene. 253 nanometer is the base value or parent value. Then we'll check the alkyl or ring substituent. So to this system, this is the diene system. Here one substituent is there. Here one substituent is there. Therefore, 2 ring residues. 2 ring residues. 3 ring residues. Where is it? Where is it? 3 ring residues. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 3 ring residues. Okay, so this ring, it is common to how it become. So this is a mistake only. 3 into 5 is not, it is 10 nanometer. Consider as 10 nanometer. So here one ring is present. Here also one ring is present. Or I have to give an alkyl substituent here. Then only it becomes 1 alkyl and 2 ring residues. Your typing mistake happened. So exocyclic double bond is present. 1 exocyclic double bond is present. This is my typing mistake. I think from previous one, as such when I copy paste it, it happened. Okay, so 2 ring residues are there. Then calculator value should be added 253 plus 10 plus 15. Okay, not 15 plus 5. This should be 2 calculator. Now I'm a little bit nervous because mistakes happens. You become nervous. So you add 253 plus 10 plus 5. Okay, 253 plus 10, 263 plus 5, 268, not 273. Okay, if any clarification is there, please put a comment on the description box. I will come back and give the explanation for that. Okay, I think here it is a typing mistake only. I can't see anything. 3 ring residues, or one here to the double bond. 1 ring residue here and 1 ring residue here. Okay, so this is my own typing mistake, typographical error. We call it as typographic error. Okay, so that happened to Dr. Prasad Pudilam. Now another structure it is given. So whether it is homoannular or heteroannular. So it is homoannular because on the same ring conjugation is there. Same ring conjugation is there. Okay. So if conjugation bond is present in 2 different, if it is present in same, it is homoannular only. Don't need to worry about heteroannular or not. So it is homoannular system, but it has got extended conjugation. So you can see till here it is extended. Okay, so I can say that it is homoannular diene with 253. I want to show the extended conjugation. So this is the extended conjugation. Therefore, we have 2 double bonds than diene. Diene means 2 double bonds. 2 more double bonds are in extension. Okay, therefore 2 double bonds are present as extending conjugation. So 2 into 30, 16 nanometer. And alkyl or ring residues. Okay, so let me guess first. If mistake is there, I will correct it. So here one substituent is there, residue is there. Here one residue is there. Here one residue is there. How much? 1, 2, 3 already done. Here one ring residue is there. Here one ring residue is there. 5 ring residues. 5 into 5, 25 nanometer. Now exocyclic double bond. How many exocyclic double bonds are there? Whether this particular double bond is exocyclic? No, it is a part of both these cycles. Both this ring structure, it is a part. This is not exocyclic. This one or to this ring, this is exocyclic. So one exocyclic it is there. 5 nanometer we need to add. Therefore, calculated value is 253 plus 60 plus 25 plus 5. 343 nanometer. Now Woodward-Fisher rule for alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. Now what is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds? Carbonyl compound means containing C double bond O. Alpha beta means the carbon with oxygen, carbon double bond with oxygen. To that carbon, the next carbon are attached with a single bond, we call it as alpha carbon, and a double bond is present to the next carbon, which is beta. We call it as alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. That will be continued to class number 5. Okay, so you here see in this particular class video, you seen the solvent effect, which is the continuation of class number 3. Okay, so we seen the solvent effect, then we seen the different types of double bonded molecules or types of double bonds. Then we seen the Woodward-Fisher rule for dienes, mainly dienes. Now alpha beta unsaturated compounds that I am covering the next class video, class number 5 in my YouTube channel, My Intuition. Please do subscribe my YouTube channel, like the videos, share to maximum and support me. Once again, thank you very much and have a nice day.